Hey, hey, hey! Happy New Year! It's your girl. Hey guys, you're back in 2022. If you're watching me, I'm watching you, and it's 2022. So you made it. You made it. Y'all, welcome to Mortgage Money with Shirley. We are on episode 16, the start of our new season with this whole mortgage education, bringing to you what I know from this mortgage industry, okay? I need to inform you, educate you, and hopefully start a business relationship with you, right? Because we want to always be teaching and helping out. And if you have questions or need advice or need to close a mortgage loan, then you need to call your girl. Okay. So it's Mortgage Money with Shirley, guys. I'm your host and educator. I am Shirley Nichols on Facebook. My business channel or my business page on Facebook, where you'll also find this podcast, is Clear Sky Mortgage with Mortgage and Realty. And also you can look at me on YouTube. Okay. So I also, this season, this year, 2022, I also want to go ahead and make sure we're pumping up and sharing and talking about the YouTube channel. Okay. And that YouTube channel, same thing. It's called Mortgage Money with Shirley. And I'm going to just keep spreading the word and letting you know. So all of these episodes, this is episode 16. So there is plenty of episodes on my YouTube channel for you to take a peek at, to share, to discuss, to talk about. If you have questions, comments, or concerns, contact me. I am live here right now. So if you're watching right now at 9:30 something in the morning, California time. If you're watching right now, I'm live, okay? Live in the studios here at Morris Media Studios in Los Angeles. You can call in to the studio. Yeah, you can call in right now so I can take your questions, comments, or concerns, okay? So you can call in, and that number is 323. I'm sorry, I always forget this number. 323-815-4243, right? I'm talking to my engineer sound lady. Okay, but she's going to put it on the screen for us, y'all. It's 323-815-4204. I'm going to memorize this number one day, y'all. I mean, I show up here twice a month. I should know the number to where I'm working at, huh? But if you have questions, comments, or concerns, feel free. Dial in now. We'll take your questions, comments. Area code 323-815-4204. Okay, so again, you're on with me. I am here twice a month, like I said, sharing with you some of the updates, the innovations, the ideas, the topics, the stuff that's going on in the mortgage and real estate world that you may want to know about. So tune in, because if you have questions, I would love to hear them. And like I said, you can always call into the studio, or you can also reach me in the comment section of Facebook, excuse me, in the comment section of Facebook, or you can also inbox me, okay? So you can privately inbox me if you have questions that you want to discuss. In the sidebar. So you can definitely comment in the Facebook comments or inbox me. And I'll also give you my cell phone number at the end of this podcast, okay? Excuse me. You'll get the podcast. You'll get my cell phone number at the end of this podcast. In each of my podcasts, I bring to you twice a month, 30 minutes at a time. And I mean, it's a lot of good stuff, people. I've been in the mortgage industry, real estate industry for about 28 years. Absolutely love it. I come from Wells Fargo, Citibank, and now I am with Clear Sky Mortgage and Realty, our mortgage broker firm, and we are doing it. So, as you all know, last year was a great, fantastic year. If you were into mortgages and real estate, interest rates were extremely low. And I say extremely because you can imagine 28 years of doing this. I have seen the up interest rates, and now they're so good, right? I came into this business and I was selling money at double digits, literally. I was selling first mortgages, second mortgages at 13%. 14%, even as high as 16%. Yes, on the first mortgage. Yeah. And I know some of you all who are more dinosauric in this business and have bought several homes and financed several homes and refinanced and sold. I know some of you all are thinking, yeah, I remember that. Yes, it was a whirlwind. Okay. I'm talking 95, 96, in the 90s, the late 90s, those interest rates were bananas. But that's what I was selling. I came into this business selling double digits and I just thought, wow, people were still buying and financing their homes, paying mortgage payments. Yeah. And you're thinking, there's no way I'd buy, a home and I got to pay 16% on the first mortgage. Now that is the bit extreme, and that was the high side. Average first mortgage rates back in the late 90s, 80s, 90s. Back then, the average interest rate about 8.5%, 9% on a first mortgage. That was average. Average, yes. So when I get excited and you see me, about these interest rates, because now they are, less than 3% in some cases. Yes, interest rates have started ticking up. I talked about this last year in December, one of my last podcasts. We talked about how rates were starting to creep up. And it's cyclical, right? It's cyclical. It's always on a cycle. It's going to keep turning and turning. But one thing is for sure, if you have good credit, if you have a great job and it's steady and consistent and you got a little bit of assets, it's always a time to buy or sell or refinance. That's how real estate works. That's one of your largest, biggest assets, one of your greatest investments that you should be making money from and hopefully set up some sort of retirement portfolio, right? We don't always want to be here working. Although I love what I do. I absolutely love it. I am a mortgage broker and realtor. I sell and buy homes for people. I refinance and finance homes. So I have the background. I've been doing this for about 28 years. So I absolutely love it. But one day, I'm going to need to sit at home and watch the sun come up and down and not do anything, right? So I'm just saying, in this new season, 2022, you made it. You made it. So let's do something with it. New year, new income, new revenues, new property. Let's get it, right? Let's get it. And like I said, interest rates, if you've heard in the news, interest rates are starting to tick up. Nothing wrong with it, because the way I see it, if you're not with the average from the 80s and the 90s, around 8.5%, 9% on the first mortgage, if you're not there, you're doing okay. You're doing okay. Trust me, I know this, right? So right now, the average interest rate right now for a property, and this is going to, also depend on your credit score. The FICO score, okay? So the average rates right now, 2 3/4, 2.875, just depending on the term, okay? Whether it's a 15-year, 20-year, 30-year, 25-year, or you're thinking about the FICO score. You have a great FICO score. It's a 680 or higher, 720 in most cases. If you're looking for the 2 3/4, 2.875 rates, those are the things and the factors that when you're starting to talk about interest rate, what is it going to be, right? All too often, I get these phone calls from clients, and some of them are new clients or some of them are existing clients. And they'll call in and they'll say, hey, Shirley, what's today's rate? Today's rate about what? It's like I get that question all the time. What is today's rate? And my response is today's rate about what? Do you want a 15-year term? Do you want a 20-year term? Do you want a 25? Do you want a 30? Do you want a VA, FHA, government loan? Do you want a conventional loan? Do you want a jumbo size loan? What loan amount are we talking about? Do you want cash out? I just start reeling off, right? Some of these things, because it's not so much as what is today's rate as it is what complements you. Okay? Does that make sense? Right? So I'm a customer. I call in. I'm a client. And I say, hey, Shirley, this is Elizabeth. And I don't know, I'm looking to purchase my first home. Hey, Elizabeth, step one. Let's talk about this. Where are you working? How much money are you making, Elizabeth? Have you looked at your credit scores? So like I said, last year, December, the last month, and a couple of the last podcasts I did, I said you should be checking your credit reports now. Now is a really good time. Now is a really good time. And I know I'm kind of jokingly saying this, a little jovial about it, but seriously, start looking or take a look at your credit reports, plural. Look at all 3 reports today. Why not? freecreditreport.com, creditkarma.com, Experian.com, Equifax.com, TransUnion.com. Look at your credit scores. Well, surely it's going to cost me. So a lot of these mom and pop, and I call them mom and pop shops, subsidiary credit score reporting people like freecreditreport.com and Credit Karma, even though they're not directly Experian or Equifax or TransUnion, they're still reliable sources for you to check your credit, okay? And a lot of these mom and pop or subsidiary credit reporting agencies, freecreditreport.com, they call it free for a reason because it's like a 21-day free trial run or a 30-day free trial run or whatever. Yes, you do have to put in your credit card or debit card number. You do have to put that in there. But at the end of that free trial period, they won't charge you if you cancel it. Okay? So just keep that in mind. You can look at your credit report right now for free. You do have to implement that credit card number, but it's free for XYZ days. Like I said, whether it's 21 days or 30 days, I don't even know, but it is free for that trial period. Okay. So go take a look at the credit reports, see what's on there. Look at all three. Yeah. Because sometimes what's reporting to Equifax may not be reporting to Experian. And it just happens that way. Okay. Take a look at all three of your credit reports, all right? So getting back to my client, Elizabeth, who calls in and says, hey, I wanna buy a new property, Shirley. Can you help me out with this? Yes, absolutely. Let's talk about your credit. Have you pulled it, Elizabeth? Oh, yeah. I pulled it yesterday. Okay, great. Any discrepancies, anything that you don't think should be there? Have you disputed those? Have you disputed those items that are something that should not be there and they're in error or something? Have you did that yet? Oh, yeah, I did that. I didn't have anything on there, so I'm good. Okay, let's talk about the employment. How much are you making? How long have you been there? Do you plan to stay there? And I know you guys are thinking, this is nuts. This is all basic stuff, but you will be surprised at how many times I will ask that question. Do you plan to stay at your employment? Do you plan to stay at that job, that career path? Do you plan to stay there for the next, give it 30 days so we can close this loan? And I asked that question in all seriousness because I've had a few clients, change their career, not just the job, just the career. Oh, yeah, I don't want to do the hairstyling business anymore. I'm going to be a dentist now. Yeah, I went to dental school and I'm a dental hygienist and I'm going to be moving on to a dentist. Okay. So we're just going to stop what we're doing on one career of doing hair and now we're doing the dentist thing, right? Nothing wrong with it. I implore you, I aspire you to go forth and do something even better than what you are doing if you think it's a better position for you. Go forth and do it. However, these are some of the do's and don'ts when you're buying a house or even refinancing your property, right? You gotta understand some things while we're in the position of or transition or the process of helping you buy your first home or second home, third home, or whatever it is, or refinance. You just need to stay put, right? Just stand still, stay still, be still until this transaction is over. It is very important because a lot of the times what we look at is the debt to income ratio or the continual, or I should say the probability for you to continue making the same amount of income that you were making or more. Okay, so that has to be understood and it has to be there so that we can factor that into your debt to income ratio. We can't look at, I was a dentist. And now I'm going to go and be a dog walker, okay? Those incomes are going to vary slightly, maybe. I was a dentist for 10 years, and now I'm getting ready to go be this dog walker, and I'm going to have a career as a dog walker. As a matter of fact, I'm going to open up my own dog walking business, so now I'm going to be self-employed. Yeah, that's a little bit of a problem. If we're doing a mortgage transaction, it's going to be a little bit of a problem. So again, watch the career change, the job hop while you're doing the mortgage transition or the mortgage process, okay? That's one thing that we need to talk about. So again, I bring all these basic ideas up because it's very true and it's still happening. And especially in this pandemic era, this whole thing with COVID and everything, people are switching jobs. Some people are on just regrettably losing jobs. But if you're in a position and you still have that same job that you started with, that you are continuing with, as we're doing this mortgage process, just stay there. And then that'll help this transition, this mortgage process go a lot quicker and smoother, right? So again, the do's and don'ts in this new year, in this 2022 are very important. Look at the credit. Talk about your employment. Stay there. If you're going to do a mortgage process, stay where you're employed at for at least until the transaction is completed, right? So the do's and the don'ts. Don't go out and buy a new car. Yeah. And again, I know what you're thinking. This is so basic, but I've had clients to do this. Oh, Shirley, I know you said that I'm getting ready to close my loan in the next 10 days. So this car, they were ready for me to sign on the dotted line. I had to sign. I had to get it because the deal was only going to be for 24 hours. I had to get it. Guess what? We're going to know. If you're in the middle of a mortgage transaction and you go to a car dealership and they run your credit, we instantly know. Yeah. So when you're, a quick tip. Okay, I'm going to give you this information. Listen very carefully. Put your ear to the screen. When you are in a mortgage transaction, when you're filling out all these disclosures and you're signing the disclosures that I send to you or your mortgage broker sends to you, when you're signing the disclosures, there are certain disclosures that you will sign. One of them is a credit monitoring disclosure, okay? That means we're going to monitor, and not me specifically, but the lender that you are financing with. They're going to monitor, okay? They're going to be on the lookout for what you're doing with your credit. Yes, that's the credit monitoring of it all. So whatever you do not go out and purchase, oh my gosh, Living Spaces was having a sale and I just had to go out and run out and get this furniture, but they told me if I did it with their credit card, it's going to be 90 days, same as cash. So I did it. I got that credit card and I bought all this furniture for my new house. And I'm thinking, no, because you've applied for another credit line. You've applied for the Living Spaces credit card. You applied for the Honda car dealership. You're applying places, and we know about this because we have you on a credit monitoring. And that credit monitoring is going to alert, boop, 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 boop. It's going to alert the underwriter or the lender every single time. And it's quick. Oh, it's quick. So don't think, oh, I applied on Monday the 20th and she said we're going to be closing on the 25th. So I have nothing to worry about. She won't know what I did on the 20th by the time we get to the 25th. Oh, they know. They know. Because everything is electronic, right? Everything is done electronically. So the minute you allow Living Spaces or Honda vehicle dealership, whomever, the minute you say, yes, run the credit on the 20th, we know about it on the evening of the 20th. It's just that quick. So again, I encourage you, whatever you do, if you're in a mortgage transaction, do not go out and run the credit. Don't buy anything, just wait. And I know that sale is over in 24 hours. I know. Everything is a 90 days, same as cash. Just apply for this credit card. I know those deals. But guess what? Just like I know them, you know them, and you also know there's always a deal, right? We've got the President's Day deal happening. We've got the Valentine's deal happening. We've got the New Year's deal happening. There's always a deal. So if you're in a mortgage transaction, I can say to you wholeheartedly over and over, do not buy into those deals. Leave the deals at the door, okay? At least wait until you're finished with your transaction, your mortgage transaction, okay? So again, the do's and the don'ts, a new year, new income, new property. And these are the steps that you need to take. These are the basic bare bottom steps that you need to take, but you need to be mindful of these steps because I tell you, I tell you, stranger things have happened because we tend to forget, or we're not thinking about this rationally, or we're not saying, or like I said, lo and behold, gosh forbid, there's a lot of clients out there that think, oh, they won't know. We always know. We do. I'm not trying to be facetious or hilarious about this, but it's the truth. We do know because those lenders, those underwriters are inspector gadgets. They know a lot more than you think. So just be mindful of that, okay? So we've talked about check your credit, your employer, and don't buy anything, right? Okay, so what else do you need to know about purchasing a house or refinancing a house? Well, again, whatever you do, and this is kind of relating and tying to the credit report, whatever you do, don't stop making your payments. And I know, basic stuff again, but I cannot tell you how many times a person will just arbitrarily stop making a payment on, I don't know, something. And they go, well, I didn't know that was going to affect me. So what happened is I pre-approved you, okay, for a purchase of a new property in the month of January. Well, you and your real estate agent, you don't find anything until the end of February, maybe March, okay? But what happened between January and February and March, you and AT&T got into a heated debate about why you're not going to pay that cable box that you didn't return, or the modem that you didn't return, or the cell phone that you thought you gave it back so you can do the upgrade. And lo and behold, you owe AT&T $200, okay? You owed AT&T $200, and oh no, I'm not going to pay that because I don't owe you. I did turn in the cable box or the modem or whatever the cell phone you were looking for. I gave you guys all your equipment back. I did. I gave you that equipment back. So I don't know why are you hitting me with this $200 bill. AT&T doesn't care if you pay it or not. They've got billions. Your $200 is nothing compared to this billion, right? So what do? They hit the credit report because you know what? We've got to teach these consumers a lesson. We've got to show them that business is business and either the equipment in our hand or cash in the other. We don't care which, just get us something. You know, that's how the business world works. Trade or cash. What are you going to do? And these giants out here, AT&T of the world, they don't care what you're going to do. Do something. But if you don't, business is still business. I'm going to report this $200 that you owe me to the collection agency. And it's just that simple. It happens all the time, unfortunately. It happens all the time, right? So you are in this debate with AT&T. I'm not going to pay you your $200. I'm not going to do it. Don't want to do it. Well, what happens is, I remember you're trying to buy a house, okay? So Elizabeth, you were trying to buy this house. I pre-approved you in January. Now here it is March. Well, the credit report, the pre-approval doesn't last forever. So I say, well, Elizabeth, I've got to re-pull your credit. Okay. Oh, that's okay. No problem. I had a 720 in January. You're okay to pull it. Go pull it. I re-pull the credit report because now it's a couple months later. And I re-pull the credit report. And what happens? Boop. Yeah, Elizabeth, I've got some sad news. That 720 that you had in January, yeah, now it's about a 670. What happened, Shirley? Remember, we talked about this. We talked about on Shirley's Mortgage with Money podcast, how you were supposed to keep paying AT&T. Well, what happened? AT&T, see right here, they have really put this collection on your credit report. But I gave them back their cell phone. Did you give them back their cell phone? Are you sure? Well, you know what? It's in my trunk. I can go give it to them now. Whoa. Because now you're a little late, right? Once this collection appears on your credit report, it's a little late. You're kind of late, right? So when the collection shows up on the credit report, now, yes, one of two things, you are going to have to rectify this one way or the other because you've got this collection and you're trying to buy a house, right? And they're going to see this $200. Well, $200 is kind of a poor example because in most cases, I want to say about 85 to 95% of the time, most cases, if you have a $200 collection, they're not really concerned with you paying it off. But, you know, more like $1,500 or higher, they're concerned with you paying that off, okay? In some programs, not all lending programs, okay? Let me be clear. Not all lending programs will have you to pay off a $1,500 collection. Most of them will. So don't run out and Shirley said, I got to pay off this $700 collection. Whoa. Shirley did not say that. What I said is be mindful of not getting them on your report in the first place, okay? But if you should get it on there and your credit score starts tinkering down and you need to put that credit score back up, you might want to think about what it is that you can do about this collection. One thing in particular, try to get it removed, right? Call AT&T Elizabeth and say, hey, listen, I don't know what I was thinking. I was a little bit irrational. I'm going to bring you your equipment or I'm going to bring you this $200. Pick one. And a lot of the times I have clients that will say, well, can I settle? Can I pay less than $200? Maybe can I pay 50 cents on the dollar and give them $100? Hey, listen, if you do not, work out some kind of agreement, the settle for less, 50 cents on the dollar type thing, a lot of the times those credit collection people do not want to remove that collection from your credit report because you've given them half of what they asked for. And they probably had to harass you for it, right? So they're not really happy to work with you and take that stuff off of your credit report. So my rule of thumb, I typically encourage clients, if you owe them $200, give them the whole amount and then ask them, can you please remove this from my credit report? Because let me just say this. Timing is undefeated, right? Timing is going to happen. And that's what you need once you get a collection on your credit report. Paying a collection, if you don't get that collection company to remove it from the bureau, if you don't get them to remove it, I'll say it again. If you don't get that collection reporting agency to remove that collection from your bureau, right? What will look like on your bureau, on your report, is a paid collection. But guess what? It's still a collection. It's still a collection. And the collection is negative remarks. It's a negative mark on your credit report. So you can have a collection that's open with the remaining balance of $200, or you can have a paid collection. It's still a collection, and timing is about the only thing that's going to cure that. Timing. Unless you can get that that collection agency to remove that collection, right? And it's so hard. It's so hard. But what makes it worse is, again, if you settle for less than what they're asking you for. So I said to Elizabeth, hey, listen, whoa. Before you run up to AT&T and arbitrarily hand the first person you see the cell phone, how's about call AT&T and say, hey, listen, here's what I'm trying to do. Could you help me out with this? And stars in the moon line up. You get the right person on the phone and they remove it. Get it in writing. Get them to email you or mail you a hard copy, a physical copy of them saying, hey, yeah, you pay us the $200, we will remove it on the spot. Check your credit in about 30 days. Yeah, there's a lot of companies I've noticed here in the pandemic, here in this whole craze of what's going on in society right now. There's a few companies out there, collection agencies, that are willing to, hey, if you pay us this full amount, if you pay us this $200, we are going to remove this, and they will give you a letter. How do I know? It just happened to one of my clients last week. I've got the letter in my hand, and then I send it over to the credit repository. The credit repository, that's who we pull our bureaus from. I send it to them, and they rapid rescore her credit, and it's going to happen. It's going to go up, and she's going to be happy. Because the collection has been removed, not showing paid collection. Because again, collection is a collection. Whether it's open or whether it's paid, it's still a collection, which is a negative mark on your bureau. So be mindful of the do's and don'ts. It's a new season, 2022, new income, new revenue, new property. It's a new season for you to get started. Let's go. But these are the do's and don'ts. Don't stop paying your bills. But Shirley, you said that credit, cell phones and car insurance, homeowners insurance, all that stuff doesn't really appear. My light bill, my gas bill, none of that stuff appears on your credit report. It doesn't until you stop paying them. And then the collection happens. And then the collection happens quicker than you can stop paying them. So pay your bills on time. Don't get into any disputes with any creditor. If you're going through a mortgage transaction, now is not the time to start getting into it with AT&T or your power and light companies. You don't have that luxury right now if you're in a mortgage transaction. The only thing I can implore you to do is pay them. And then after the mortgage transaction is completed, dispute it. But that's after you've done the mortgage stuff, the big stuff, the greatest investment of your life. That's after this is done. Then do this. Go dispute with whoever you want to after that. Okay? But don't get caught up in the idea of, I want to dispute. I don't want to pay you your $200. Pay them. But first of all, don't let it get there. Don't even let it get to that point. Okay? The do's and don'ts of 2022 so that you can start building the new income, new revenue, new property. That's what we're talking about today's podcast, episode 16, the new year, right? Mortgage money with your girl, Shirley. So again, let's say, I'm just going to go down the line that I have in my head about what has happened thus far. I know it's only the 14th day of January, but in these last couple of days, yes. Hey, we're doing mortgages all day, every day, guys. And, we talk about interest rates having already started to go up. And you heard my whole spiel about in the beginning of this podcast, how I was selling money in the double digits. So having a 3.1 or a 3.125 or a 3.3% rate is nothing. It's good. It's good. What'd you say, Shirley? It's great. How about that? It's great. Interest rates are still great because from where I come from, rates are so much higher. Okay. So we're talking about interest rates starting to go up. And basically, it's the cost of the rate. The cost of the rate. So some of you are familiar with, oh my gosh, I don't want to pay points. But now is the time to start thinking about, did I do points with Shirley? Did I do points with that other lender? Now is the time. Quick tip. Now is the time to reach back into some of your disclosures of any loan papers that you have from 2021 and get out what's called in the lending world, in the mortgage business, your settlement statement. Get out that settlement statement. It's that long sheet of paper that has all these numbers on there, primarily how much you owe, where it went to, the appraisal report you paid for, the title and escrow company you paid, the underwriting fee you paid, the points that you paid. All of that can be found on your settlement statement, okay? And primarily those loan disclosures that you signed, those loan papers that you signed in 2021, pull them out, flip through those paperwork and pull out your settlement statement, okay? Quick tip, that settlement statement, you want to pull it out and give it to whoever is doing your tax returns, okay? If it's H&R Block, TurboTax, whoever is doing your taxes, your CPA, your bookkeeper, whomever your accountant is, give them that settlement statement and highlight the area that says points, okay? And this is a good thing. A lot of the times when we get started in these mortgage transactions, the first thing a client will say is, what's the rate? And then I got to go back with, what do you mean? But long story short of it, that interest rate comes with a cost. Okay. Most of the time that interest rate comes with the cost. Now, there are some clients that say, I don't want to pay those points, Shirley. Well, then the rate is going to be higher. Pay a little bit of a point, rate is lower. No points, rate is higher. I don't care who you go to, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase, all these guys, they all do the same thing. Interest rates are at a cost because the lender, the bank, the mortgage company, they're paying for those interest rates, right? The Federal Reserve sets a plateau, sets an index that says, hey, here's what's going to cost you to get this money. And then guess what? The lender's going to want that money back. They're going to want their fees back. So either you get a higher rate, no points, or a lower rate and a few points, right? Somewhere in between. So pull out your settlement statement. It's right on there, points, or they might say origination. It's still points. The reason why I'm giving you this tip is right now is starting to be the height of tax season. And some of you all are going to get back great refunds. Some of you all are going to owe. Well, this line item, the origination or the points, is what's going to help you be able to deduct some of that money that you might owe to the IRS, or it might help you get some refund back, right? So make sure you get out those settlement statements. It's very important. If you don't have a clue what the settlement statement is, call me. Call your mortgage broker and I'll let you know what that settlement statement is. If I did your loan last year and you haven't found your settlement statement, you don't know where to look, call me. I can shoot it over to you. Quick email, no problem, no worries. But that is a very great tool to have to, like I said, to give to whoever is going to do your taxes. If you're going to do them yourself, you already know what it's about. It's an itemization that you can use on your tax returns so that you can benefit from those points that you said you didn't want to pay. But this is why I often encourage my clients, don't get so fixated about the rate if you don't want to do the cost. And it's a one-time pop. Those points are a one-time fee that is tax deductible. Okay, so it's not all bad. It's not all negative, like, oh my gosh, I've got to spend a couple thousand to get this rate. Well, you can deduct some of this, and it is tax deductible to help you the next year, right? So I tell everyone in 2020, every year, every time I do a mortgage transaction, I remind my clients, don't forget, next year, get this statement out and write it off on your taxes. I remind them all the time. So that's your quick tip. So right now, because tax season is starting to, spike up, it is the middle of January, and some of you are getting refunds or probably already filed their tax returns. So go ahead, pull out that settlement statement, look for the word origination or points, all the same thing, and you can claim that on your tax returns, okay? So again, a couple do's and don'ts when you're buying a house or refinancing in 2022, because that's what you want to do. Start looking into building your real estate portfolio. And I'm preaching to the choir, right? Because myself included, I want to start investing in more property this year, 2022. I want to invest and buy an investment property that here in Los Angeles County will sure appreciate fairly quickly. I want to start making sure that I'm adding to my investment portfolio. So I'm adding to what I have so that my retirement can be lovely and well maintained. So again, if you're looking to buy a new property, if you're looking to buy a new investment property, call me because we can do this together, right? Because now I'm into the trenches of it, right? And one thing I noticed that a lot of my clients, when they're talking to me about, hey, Shirley, I want to buy a new property. I want to make it in my investment property. I want to hold on to it till my child is 35. So when my child turns 35, they've got this house that's paid for. I think that is excellent. And because, again, I'm preaching to the choir, my child is 7 years old, and pretty soon he'll be of age that he's going to want to go to college. And maybe instead of staying in the dorm, or either when he comes home for the summer, he doesn't need to stay in my house. He can stay in his house, right? So buying an investment property right now, especially in this season, is a good time. But I get questions that, from clients that, hey, how am I going to do this? Well, what you're going to do is build up your resources, right? Get your capital together, because you're going to need a 25% down payment, right? You're going to need a 25% down payment on whatever investment property that you're going to buy, unless this is your primary property because you live in one property, you're going to sell that property, or you're going to Airbnb in that property, or you're going to rent out that property and you want to get into a new property. You're going to make that your primary home, right? Or again, you can do the investment property thing, 25% down. And well, Shirley, where am I going to get this 25% down? Gather your resources. I talked about this last year as well. Gather your resources. You might need to invest in a partnership with someone, maybe pull together an investment team that can pinch this and pinch that and add this, and together you guys have a 25% down payment. Or look into your 401k or your retirement plan that says, hey, I've got this pot of money. I can pull out some of that money and go and buy an investment property, especially here in Los Angeles County. These properties are not staying on the market long. How do I know? Because gosh, thank you, sweet Jesus. I'm closing escrow on one of my seller's properties next week, this week coming up, as a matter of fact, this Wednesday, to be exact. This Wednesday, closing on their property. And my golly, from start to finish, it's been 22 days. It's been 22 days. So again, and it's a condo. It's a condo at that. So we will talk more about condos and single families and multi-units. We'll talk about that in another podcast. But long story short of it, I said this a few seconds ago. I'm going to make this short because our podcast is coming to You're only on with me 30 minutes. I only get 30 minutes of your time. And it goes by so quick because as you can tell, I'm a lover of all things mortgage and real estate. And I can talk on and on and on about these things. But because we are closing out real soon here, I just want to say again, make sure if you're looking in the new season, do something with some money, make some money, invest in some property. And if it's not your turn just yet to either, like I said, look into a 401k plan, pull out some revenue from there, pull out some capital from a retirement plan, or get a pool of investors to go in with you if you're going to buy an investment property. If that is not you right now, so be it. Look into refinancing your property. Look into refinancing what you already have. Or maybe you want to rent out what you already have and then buy a new property where the down payment could be 3.5%, 3%, or 5%, right? I said that kind of backwards, 3% or 3.5% or 5% down payment on a primary property, right? So let's talk about those things. I think you should call me. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can always feel free to call me on my cell phone. Here's the number. Look and pay attention. It's 818-720-7575. 818-720-7575 is my personal cell phone. And yes, I know I gave it out. I do. And I do it on all the podcasts, actually, so that you can call me with your comments, questions, and concerns. Because guess what? If you call me with some frag-a-naggle, my block game is strong. I love you guys for watching. I sound like Wendy Williams, right? She always says that. I love you guys for watching. Bless her heart. Keep her in prayer. But Mortgage Money with Shirley. I'm your girl, Shirley Nichols. My personal Facebook page, again, is Shirley Nichols. You can leave your comments, questions, or concerns in the, what? Subscribe! Thank you, engineer. Guys, I've been doing this podcast. I'm telling you, this is like my 16th episode. I never really pump up my YouTube page and tell you to subscribe. Subscribe. There. I threw it out there. I threw it out there again. What'd you say, Shirley? Yes, I said subscribe to my podcast on YouTube. YouTube channel is Mortgage Money with Shirley. Mortgage Money with Shirley is my YouTube channel. Subscribe. My internet is going to bat me in the head with something if I don't let you all know about this YouTube channel. Y'all, we're doing it. We are doing major big things in 2022, and I want you to come along with the ride because, like I said, I'm going to be in the trenches with you, and I'll talk to you about my trenches of buying my new property, my new investment property. I'll talk to you how that's going along. You know, the first step is run the credit. That's easy. Second step is talk about the income. That's easy because I'm sitting here in front of you with my job, right? So, and we're going to talk about the assets and the capital. That's all this stuff will be easy because we're going to do it together, right? So you're going to tune in twice a month while I'm live here in the Morris Media Studios in Los Angeles. You're going to tune in to Mortgage Money with Shirley. How do you know when I'm coming? Guess what? I always announce it on Facebook, on my story, on Instagram, on IG. I always announce it, okay? And I'm going to have a commercial real soon. Not a CBS or NBC, ABC commercial, okay? We'll leave that to my yum, Ryder Witt. We'll leave that to the actor. But no, I'm going to make a little commercial so that I can always blurt it out when I'm coming. But it's twice a month, kind of like this Friday thing. I'm going to talk to my engineer and see if I can make this Friday thing more permanent. Because normally I'm on a Wednesday or a Thursday during the week, but I kind of like this Friday thing. So I'm going to be on twice a month like I was in 2021. This is episode 16. You can look at all the other episodes on my YouTube channel. What'd you say, Shirley? Yes, on my YouTube channel, Mortgage Money with Shirley. Subscribe. Tell a friend or two. Tell an enemy or two. We don't care. Tell them. It's a lot of good information. I hope you all got a little bit of a tip or two today, some education, what to do not do, the do's and don'ts. We're starting right now in 2022, my new first episode of the season of 2022 on January 14th, this Friday, right now is happening. But I'm getting ready to get off of my podcast. And again, I thank you all so much for watching. And like I said, DM me, leave the comments on the Facebook page if you need to, but whatever your question, comments, or concerns are, I love to hear them. If I don't have the answer, I'll get the answer, and together we can do this. It's been nice. I'll see you guys in another 2 weeks. Again, it's Mortgage Money with Shirley. Take care. God bless. Have a great weekend.